Guys, and welcome back to No Deal All Grind. Today's episode might be one of the most important conversations we've had all season because every independent artist talks about getting signed. Everybody dreams about the phone call, everybody imagines the meeting, everybody pictures the contract sliding across the table. But here's the problem: most artists spend years learning how to rap, how to sing, how to produce, how to market, but almost no time learning how to read the paperwork that could determine the next 10 years of your career. That's dangerous because a contract isn't just paperwork, it's a business agreement. It's a roadmap that determines who gets paid, who owns what, who makes decisions, who carries the financial risk, and what happens when success finally arrives. Today, we're going to simplify some of the most common terms you'll see in music contracts. This isn't legal advice, and every agreement should be reviewed by a qualified entertainment attorney before you sign. But understanding the language will help you ask better questions and make more informed decisions. So let's get to it. Let's start with the word everyone loves to hear: advance. An artist hears $250,000 advance, $500,000 advance, $1 million advance. Immediately they think, I'm rich. But here's the reality: an advance is generally not free money. Think of it more like a business investment that's expected to be earned back from the revenue your music generates under the terms of the agreement. That's why people often compare it to a loan. It's money paid up front against your future earnings. For example, imagine a label gives you a $100,000 advance. That money might help cover things like recording, videos, living expenses, promotion, touring preparation. But before you receive additional royalty payments under many contracts, that advance typically has to be recouped according to the agreement. That's why the size of an advance shouldn't be the only thing that excites you. Ask yourself, what are the terms attached to it? What rights am I giving up? What expectations come with this money? Because sometimes a smaller deal with stronger ownership terms creates more long-term value than a much larger advance. Now let's talk about one of the most misunderstood words in music: recoupment. Recoupment simply means recovering money that was advanced or spent on your project according to the contract. Imagine a business invests heavily in launching your music. Those costs might include studio sessions, producers, marketing campaigns, music videos, artwork, tour support. Depending on the agreement, some or all of those costs may be recoupable. That means revenue generated by your recordings may first be used to cover those agreed upon expenses before additional royalties are paid to you. This is why artists sometimes have songs with millions of streams, but still say they haven't received royalty checks. Always because someone is stealing. Sometimes the contract requires costs to be recouped first. That's why understanding what is and isn't recoupable is so important. Read the contracts carefully, ask questions, and never assume. So let's simplify royalties. Royalties are the payments generated when your music earns money. Depending on the situation, different people may receive portions of that income. That can include the recording artists, songwriters, producers, publishers, record labels, other rights holders. So every agreement defines how those earnings are divided. Here's the important lesson: don't focus only on percentages. Focus on what the percentage applies to. A smaller percentage of a much larger opportunity may sometimes be worth more than a larger percentage of something with limited reach. The real question isn't simply what percentage do I receive? It's also how is that percentage calculated? Understanding the math behind the agreement is just as important as understanding the headline number. So, if there's one concept every independent artist should understand, it's master ownership. Your master recording is the original recorded version of your song. Whoever owns that recording generally controls how it can be licensed and commercially exploited, subject to the terms of applicable agreements. Ownership can influence opportunities such as film placements, television placements, commercial licensing, future distribution, catalog sales. Your music isn't just art, it's intellectual property, it's an asset. And like any valuable asset, ownership matters. Sometimes artists choose to transfer ownership in exchange for significant investment. Sometimes they license their recordings while retaining ownership. Neither approach is automatically right nor wrong. The key is understanding exactly what you're agreeing to before you sign. Now let's talk about publishing. Publishing is different from master ownership. Publishing relates to the underlying composition, the lyrics, the melody, and songwriting. Whenever songs are performed, broadcast, streamed, licensed, covered, and reproduced, publishing rights may come into play. Many new artists focus only on their recordings, but songwriters create value too. If you write your own music, your publishing rights can become one of your most valuable long-term assets. Understand who owns them. Understand whether you're assigning rights or licensing them, and always know what you're signing. So here's what happens too often, and artists finally get the meeting. They've dreamed about this moment for years. A contract is presented, they're excited, they're emotional, they feel pressure to move quickly, and they sign before they fully understand the agreement. Don't confuse urgency with opportunity. A legitimate business opportunity should give you enough time to understand what you're signing. Asking questions isn't ungrateful, it's professional. Great business relationships are built on clarity, not confusion. The strongest negotiations begin long before the contract arrives. Know your priorities in advance. So ask yourself, what matters most to me? Is it ownership, creative control, flexibility, marketing support, financial investment, long-term rights? If you don't define your values beforehand, someone else may define them for you. Preparation creates confidence, and confidence creates better conversations. This week's challenge is called Know Your Non-Negotiables. Write down 5 things you are unwilling to compromise on. Examples might include keeping a percentage of your master's ownership, retaining creative input over your music, understanding every financial obligation before signing, having contracts reviewed by an experienced entertainment attorney, building long-term wealth instead of chasing short-term excitement. Then ask yourself, would I still agree to this opportunity if the advance were smaller? If the answer is no, maybe you weren't pursuing the opportunity. Maybe you were chasing the money. Know the difference. So in conclusion, contracts don't make artists successful. Artists make contracts valuable. The stronger your brand, the stronger your audience, the stronger your business, the more negotiating power you have. Remember, never let excitement replace education. Never confuse a signature with success. And never stop learning the business behind the music. Because the artists who understand contracts don't just protect their careers, they build legacies. So this has been No Deal All Grind. Keep creating, keep learning, keep building leverage. And remember, legacy over labels, always. Bye, guys.